today I'll just take you through some of the modern ways through which, as a teacher, you can ensure that you develop professionally and you go in line with the current affairs and how other people are doing it. So I'm going to touch on a number of things. I'll highlight a description of what is this continuous professional development. We also look at some of the benefits. Why is it beneficial to teachers and why is it important? I will also share some of the routes to continuous professional development. How best can you achieve this? And in this case, for each route, I will identify some of the key ways or some of the key benefits or the benefits that comes with you engaging in a particular activity. Then we'll look at some of the opportunities that are there. You have some opportunities that will require you to be physically present. And in this era where we have technological advancement, you find that you also have opportunities that are there online that you can pursue, and they are going to help you to develop professionally. So straight to the point, go to, sorry, I'll be sharing the screens here in case you have questions. You can post them on the comment section, and then Rukia is going to help me go through some of them as I respond. So continuous professional development, I just got a very simple description, which is process of reflection, learning, and action to further teachers' knowledge and skills, leading to enhanced teaching practices that positively impact on students' learning. So in this case, you find that most of us have gone to the universities and colleges. We've taken our diplomas, we've taken our undergraduates, even masters and PhD degrees. But then you find that for us to put into practice what we have, that is the knowledge, we need to have a very good connection between knowledge and practice. Yes, we've gone to school, learned things to do with pragmatics. We've done phonetics, phonology, lexics, and so on and so forth. We've done even grammar. But then how best now do we learn to put these skills into practice? And you find that at the beginning, when someone maybe is a novice in the career, it becomes a little bit hard for them to understand some of the approaches or maybe strategies that they can use to in their classes to enhance learning. But then through continuous professional development, you find that you get a chance to reflect on what you learned in school and colleges, and you put them into action so that at the end of the day, you will impact positively on the student that we are all there to help. So I just shared the screen here. So here, the benefits of the continuous professional development, one of them is that it helps us to improve our teaching skills and strategies. We live in the 21st century, we are in 2024, and you find that the approaches that some of us maybe went through when you were in high school, for example, maybe some years ago, they could have worked with for us, but at this given time, they may not be the ones that will help the student that you are teaching. So in this case, when you engage in continuous professional development, you find that you improve your skills and even the strategies. Secondly, you find that it also helps to improve the learn outcomes. In Kenya and some other countries, you find that you have the summative examinations. The 844 system has been giving us a summative exam whereby it requires the grading system of A, B, C, D, and A. And now with the CBC thing, you find that we may not be having that kind of grading system, but you're going to have exceeding expectation, meeting, and so on and so forth. So in this case, as a teacher, you need to learn how best. Now, instead of you just giving your students that clean A, or maybe that A minus or that B plus, how best can you help them to improve in the language itself, communication in both written and spoken English? Also, at the same time, you find that it helps us to increase the teacher motivation and job satisfaction. Researchers will tell you that teaching profession is one of the careers that comes with a lot of burnout. teachers have a lot of work. And at the end of the day, if you don't engage yourself in something that is going to help you become a better person, then you find that you will be demotivated and you'll not be satisfied with the kind of work that you're doing. So CPD will always be there to help you with that. Also, it provides a platform for networking and collaboration with other professionals. Some of the CPD opportunities that I'm going to share with you here will uh, bring to your attention some of the ways through which you can network. You can collaborate with other teachers. For example, today we have Seth here. Seth here is from Burundi. The reason why he is here is because he wants to learn, and in this kind of a network, he is going to get out as a better teacher, hopefully, than the way he came here. So the CPD activities helps one to network and even collaborate with other professionals. And then finally, for career progression, some of us want to get promotions at our workplace. We have others that probably want to get better opportunities local and even outside the country. And you find that the employers will be very keen on who they are employing and when. So when you engage yourself in the CPD, you find that you get yourself an upper hand when it comes to career progressions. Routes to CPD. There are various routes, and I will share just a number of them. You have the in-person activities. In-person activities include those activities that require you to, so that you can become a professional or that you can grow professionally, they require you to be there in person. For example, studies. The reasons why we have teachers after doing the undergraduate studies and diplomas, why they advance to higher levels is because they want to develop professionally. We also have the issues to do with the conferences and shows. These are an idea that in the ELT field is something that you cannot avoid, you cannot underestimate. And I'll mention just a number of them later on in this session. We have training courses and workshops. We've seen, for those who are working in Kenya, we've seen the Teacher Service Commission coming up with the TPD, the short training course. We've also seen some workshops. I've seen some organizers coming up with workshops in Kenya for maybe teachers of English paper 1, maybe paper 2. They look at the trends in marking, maybe the changes, the new set books, and so on and so forth. We call them training courses and workshops. Then also you have the coaching or mentorship sessions. And these ones involve a session whereby a person or a group of people sit down with another group of people, and then they try to help them to become better professionals by guiding them. And then the other one is through peer observation. You find that when you are in a school setup and you want to grow professionally, if you are a novice, maybe it's your first 1 year in the profession, the easiest way for you to become a better person professional is by looking at what other teachers are doing. For instance, in my first few years of the first 1 year of my profession as a teacher after graduating, I went to a school whereby I was confused about where should I start, how should I teach my students, which approach is going to work. Yes, I have gone to the university and I've gotten the content on grammar and so many other stuff. Then how best do I put them into practice? And lucky enough, I was in a place whereby I had some teachers who are very much willing to guide me and help me. So through observing them, I came to grow professionally. And a few years down the line, I can confidently see that I can handle the students in a different way other than how I used to do it previously. Then also we have activities by communities of practice, like we call them the COPs. And an example is the ELPAK, which is the one that has brought here, and some other groups. Activities that they engage in, that they convene for their members. You find that at the end of the day, they will be very helpful in helping our students to become better people, and also ourselves in becoming better professionals. We have the online or virtual routes to continuous professional development. In this case, you find that because of the advancements in technology, we don't necessarily rely on the in-person meetings and activities to grow. These days, you have online conferences. We have online short courses that you can sit down and just do at the comfort of your home. You can also have social media discussions. I've seen on Fridays in the WhatsApp group, you have some activities like maybe a topic, and then people share what they know. And in a case, maybe it's a new topic to you, you can learn. I have learned a lot actually from the ideas that are shared by the people on these social media platforms. Sometimes you are not online, but later on when you come, maybe later in the day, you can just check and see what teachers saying about how do they do this and the other. Then also we have webinars like this. You use a webinar. We also have online workshops. I'll share some of that, those which can help you as a teacher of English. And then also you have online mentorship programs. That is in cases whereby people are in different places. These ones can be quite helpful. Now, what the events and activities offer. When you take part in these in person or online or the virtual events, what do they offer? First thing that they offer is the up-to-date information and skills. As I said earlier, we are in the 21st century. This is 2024. We are teaching learners who you find that when it comes to the knowledge on some of the things that are happening out there, some of us, I'm sorry to say this, you find that some of them have more up-to-date information than we, their teachers, especially in cases where we're teaching in some schools that involve students going home at the end of the day. These students access the internet, they access computers, laptops, and even their mobile phones. So you find that they are updating themselves on issues to do maybe with artificial intelligence in learning. They are trying to see which applications they can use maybe to do one thing or the other. So if you are a teacher and you don't want to get now to this position of you professionally growing by looking for this knowledge, you find that at the end of the day, you'll be using those traditional methods of teaching and you'll be out of date. So your students, you'll be getting to class and they're laughing. They're like, whatever you're telling us, we just went to the AI and application and we just got the information. So you need to get up and do it. You also get necessary resources and support and strategies needed to succeed. You find that in these events, they share resources like learning materials, books, maybe some flyers, yeah, brochures will help you. Support, you find that you interact with a person here and then they can support you on how you can integrate technology in your learning, maybe how you teach pronunciation and so on and so forth. Also, they provide opportunity to network and collaborate with other professionals. I would say that one of the reasons, or one of the, I initially did not know who Rukia was an example, not know the likes of Friend and many others. But through some activities, online activities here and there, I came to know them and together with many others. So in this case, you find that you network, you create a link and then you collaborate with these people for the development of yourself and even for the other people that are relying on you. In this case, you who are the students. Then also we have mentors and coaches provide support and guidance and encouragement, especially if you are new in the profession or maybe if there is some information that you want to get, which is new, you can have this happening quite easily. Then the other one is that it gives us an opportunity to reflect on current practices and evaluate how to do things differently or more effectively. Some of us have an experience of more than maybe 10 years or even more. And you find that the way we used to be taught in high school could be not as productive or not as effective as to the current generation of students. So you find that if you engage in these activities and the events that are geared towards continuous professional development, you have a chance to reflect. You see, for example, I've been teaching pronunciation by just like is an area probably that most of us have, and I'll give an example of that. You have learned so much of pronunciation. We have learned maybe so much of this area. Why? Because maybe you have a challenge in the area ourselves, because we have to agree that most of us are not, or we are not native speakers of the language. So we also have our own challenges. So you see, you look at it and see that I've been teaching this topic on pronunciation by just pronouncing the words myself, and I'm also struggling. Is there a way that I can come up with a better approach? And then you go maybe check on YouTube, you check on some other places, and someone comes and then tells you that this is how I've managed to teach pronunciation in my school. I go maybe present some YouTube videos on people pronouncing maybe a certain sound and so on and so forth. So by learning from this other person of how they've been doing it in their place, you become a better person, and at the end of the day, you will be able to help that learner to get to handle that problem in the best way possible. Benefits. In this case, I'm touching on the benefits by the individual groups or maybe individual routes. They begin with the local or regional conferences by teacher associations. And in this case, I've quoted ELPAK because it's our local association here in Kenya. That is English Language Professionals Association of Kenya. They normally hold conferences. We normally have conferences. Last year, we had the African Lake Zone English Language Consortium. That was in Kisumu. And unfortunately, I don't manage to attend, but I'm pretty much sure that those people who went for that particular conference had a lot of things to learn from other teachers, not just in Kenya, but even from other countries like Tanzania, through TELTA and some other organizations that were there. And what do you learn here? First of all, in this, when you engage in the conferences, you have the keynote speeches and presentations. These keynote speeches, most of them are by people who are professionals, people who have been working in the ELT field for some time. They have faced challenges, they have come up with solutions to those challenges, and when you listen to them, you will get to understand how to handle a certain area. We also have discussions are held in these conferences and research on innovative teaching practices, also networking and creating of productive collaborations. When you attend the conference like the one that was in Kisumu last year by ELPAK and many others that you are going to have this year, you find that you will get a chance to not only network and collaborate with others, but you learn, discuss, share ideas, and you get to benefit at the end of the day. We have international conferences like IATFL. IATFL is an International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language. This one is domiciled in the UK. We have TESOL Association. This is teachers of English to speakers of other languages. And then we have Africa ELTA, which stands for Africa English Language Teachers Association. So they mainly have the conferences every year. Some of them might be hard to attend because of they have their logistic issues to do with finances and others. But I can show you how to maneuver your way out by not necessarily having to attend in person. So when you attend or when you attend a session or maybe an event by these associations, you find that teachers from different countries, teachers from Sub-Saharan Africa, teachers from Asia, teachers from UK and other places whereby the contexts are similar or almost similar to ours, you learn from the plenary or keynote speeches. You find that some of the people that we normally study when we are doing our undergraduates or maybe other degrees, people like Stephen Krashen and the others, you find that there are people who are there in person, and they are normally invited as plenary speakers, and they give some keynote speeches whereby through their speeches, you learn about how to handle a particular area and how to improve as a teacher. You also have presentations in the main and the pre-conference events. Before the conferences are held, we normally have a situation whereby people are requested to write their proposals, and they write proposals based on a certain topic. For example, if in Kenya, if someone was talking about maybe an idea of multilingualism, a situation whereby you are teaching learners from different backgrounds, you find that these are an area that other teachers in other places are facing. So if you get a chance to attend or if you engage yourself in the activities of these conferences, you will, for instance, learn how are teachers in Mexico, how are teachers in Cameroon, how are teachers maybe in Uganda teaching in setups that you have multilingual settings. How are they translanguaging? What are some of the things that they're doing in classes, the class activities that they're engaging in? Are they encouraging the use of L1? Like in our case in Kenya, sometimes we discourage use of our local languages, maybe Kikuyu, the Luo language, and many others. But then you find that if you attend these things, people will tell you, the expert will tell you that sometimes you don't have an option but to translanguage. You begin from what the learners know to what they don't know. So through these presentations, you learn more about how you can put some skills into practice in your schools and then they work. We have also table talks and technology lab activities. In these case, technology lab activities, because of the new technologies, you find that people will come and then maybe someone has used a certain software somewhere, and then they show you how it is used to solve a certain case, a certain problem, for example. And also networking and creating productive international collaborations as well. Other than the conferences, local and international conferences, we have workshops and training events, organizations like the British Council, the US Embassy through the English language programs, CERELO, and some other organs, and also you have the local groups. This one is something that I know a number of you are quite aware that through the local, the teacher associations like ELPAK, some international organizations will convene workshops and training events for teachers, whereby they will be taken through some of the ways they will acquire some knowledge and skills on how to handle various challenges and how to improve themselves as teachers. We also have fellowships and exchange programs. An example is the Fulbright Tea engagement, which is mainly facilitated by the US Embassy and in partnership with the English language programs and other affiliated offices. You find that they give the teachers a chance to go and learn from other teachers. For example, you go, if it is for 6 weeks, you get to interact with teachers from other places, you see what they are doing, what is it that they are not doing, how you share what you're doing, and you critique. At the end of the day, you'll be like, am I doing the right thing, or is there a way that I can change and become a better teacher through these kind of interactions? Also, there are discussions on research and innovative teaching practices. You also you get a chance to network at the same time you see this and even create a mutual productive collaborations. We have shows and symposia. Well, maybe before I go to the shows and symposia, you don't have like to have to attend an event by the British Council or maybe by the US Embassy for you to say that you have attended a workshop. No, you see even local groups like the one I was sharing about events by maybe some publishers in partnership with some local groups, and then they have a sitting maybe of 1 hour. Some you hear that you have maybe in Kisumu, others in Mombasa, Nairobi, and then they share trends on paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 marking, maybe how are you going to approach these new set books and so on and so forth. So basically, they're also part of workshops and training events. Also, the TSC organizes some of these events in partnership with local schools and some other offices. We have shows and symposia. These ones, maybe it's not very common in Kenya, but you find that in some countries, they normally hold some shows. And I think also in Kenya, we have some whereby you go and then you find that there are some expert reviews and presentations, table talks. People are given a chance, like you share a table maybe with around 5 or 6 teachers from different places. You talk about a certain area. For example, how do you teach grammar? This is how I do about, this is how I go about grammar. This is how I do this and that. So at the end of the day, before you leave that place, you will get some idea. Expert reviews include the invitation of people who are experts. I was fortunate to attend one just the other day, and one of the things that was so productive about it is that when you talk about something, for example, Microsoft Office, Microsoft is, we normally know about Microsoft, maybe Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Publisher, PowerPoint, and others. But then when you get someone working for the company, someone who is an educator from that particular company, they will give an expert review of, for example, how can you use Microsoft Teams in your learning? How can you use Canva in your classes? So if you don't attend a show that maybe is in Nairobi or somewhere around the country, and it's about education, you miss out on a chance to grow yourself as a teacher. At the same time, there might be exhibition of resources and equipment. You know that maybe I can use this if I'm an administrator, maybe I can get this kind of a computer and it is going to help. This kind of a screen is going to be more beneficial than the usual blackboard and so on and so forth. Then also through studies, of course, when you take a certificate, a diploma, bachelor's, master's, or PhD degree, you are growing yourself professionally by getting professional training and up-to-date skills and knowledge. Some of these certificates and courses might be offered online or in person. So in this case, it's open. And it's something that many of us are doing. I know some of us are in schools doing masters, others PhD, and others even certificates. Then peer observation, I talked about this. When you're in a school setup, you are working with other colleagues, you can grow yourself professionally by listening to what other teachers are saying and by looking at what they are doing and trying to get some experience through peer-to-peer learning and exchange of skills and knowledge. Now, I've talked about a number of ways through which you can grow ourselves. We have in person. In person requires you to be there in person. Talked about conferences. We have conferences that we can attend in Kenya, but we have others. For example, we have TESOL. They have theirs in Tampa, Florida this year March. We have IATFL in the UK in Brighton, still in this year also in April. We have Africa Elder Conference in Cairo in Egypt. This is in May later this year. These ones might be a little bit hard for some of us, especially because of the logistics. Maybe you are working. Sometimes it comes with some financial obligations that may be very hard to meet. But then this one is not an excuse that I cannot maybe attend this conference because I don't have money, because I cannot grow myself professionally because I don't have money to travel. Maybe I don't have visa to travel. No, that's why we have the online continuous professional development coming in here. And these are the ones that I will share some that most of the ones that I'm going to share is the one that I've taken part in and that have benefited a lot. So it's something that I have tried and it has worked. And I tried even way before maybe going to the UK, but it worked for me. And I believe that these among others, they can help you to grow professionally. We have courses and webinars and other resources and by the British Council. When you go to the British Council website, there's a column known as the Teaching English. That if you go that point there, you'll come across an area known as professional development and teaching resources. If you look at here, you have planning lessons and courses, understanding learners, managing the lesson, knowing the subject, managing resources, accessing learners, integrating ICT, and so on and so forth. So when you go there, you will get materials, you get resources that will help you to become a better teacher. You know how, for example, how can you manage your lesson? How can you use ICT in learning? This February, they have the multilingual learners approach. It's on this February. It's like a short course. If you take some time, some of them are self-paced. You can just do them at your own convenience. And at the end of the day, you find that they will benefit you. Some of us ask, how is it going to benefit? I know of the instance whereby most of us only want to do something that you have a certificate at the end of the day. Well, the certificate is very important. British Council, in some cases, like the teaching pathways, will give you certificates, of course. But then besides the certificate that you're going to get, the most important thing is that skill and the knowledge that you're going to get. Because in some cases, the employer might not even look at the documents that you have. They don't even care about maybe what you've done. But if you're given learners, what approach, what is your teaching philosophy? So you go there, you get them. I've shared them here, some of them, like the teaching English program. We have using multilingual approaches course is there this February 24. We have also the English Connect program. This one is a very important event. I think some members of ELPAK got a chance to attend a physical event in Senegal last year, and They gave us a presentation, and at the end of the day, we realized that it was very, very productive. Then also we have school and teacher resources for different levels, for teams and children. You can get lesson plans, you get activities that you can use in your classes, stories and poems, some tools like phonemic charts and so on and so forth. These ones are there for you as a teachers. They are online. They don't require you, some of them, most of them don't require you to pay. And you just go check them out and you're going to go. We have some activities or some programs by the US Embassy through the English language programs, uh, which one of the members of ELPAK has been very, very critical in helping teachers at least to bring the gap and help the teachers to bring the gap between knowledge and practice. And they are here. An example is the Online Professional English Network. I've seen Rukia and other officials in ELPAK share the knowledge, the information about these online programs. The MOOCs, massive open online courses for English language teachers. The moment you take these courses, you find that by the time that you are finishing the studies, you don't just complete the studies the same person you left. No, you get out as a different person. American English webinars are there. What do? Just go open English community. It's there online. You can access materials here. Content-based instruction. This one is instruction learned. This one is self-paced. Self-paced is the one that you can just do at your own at time. You just need to take, we have, for English language teachers, we have teaching English to language classes, which is a very big problem to many of us because you find that in some classes, we have as students as many as 60 and even 15 plus. So sometimes even the class control becomes very hard. So the moment you get to go through that particular course is going to help you to know how best you can understand this. When you go to the American English webinars online, that is YouTube, you'll get some of the recordings about various topics: active learning, classroom management, metacognition, what is empowering students to monitor and evaluate their learning, and so on and so forth. So through the embassy and the English language programs, among other branches of the US Embassy, we find that there are so many opportunities that teachers can use to grow themselves professionally. We have other online opportunities. We have 1 million teachers program, which is known as the Black Belt. I'm mentioning this because I went through them. I did some courses with the British Council, some others with the Open Forum, and also did the 1 million Black Belt program, which we had with graduation last year in Nairobi. And someone might ask, what is the Black Belt program? Initially, before I did it, I thought it was something to do with karate and a lot of that stuff. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of learning that took place there through the various modules that are there. And you find that the program comes with various topics. How you teach, maybe using technology in classes. You have also some topics on management. You have topics on so many other issues to do with the psychology of the students and the mental health of the students and so many others. So the moment you go and you enroll for this 1 million teachers, this is a very good program and a free one. At the end of the day, you don't just do things ordinary the way you've been doing them at the beginning. You become a different person. It's free and open. It's free, self-paced. You just do your studies the way you want them, very detailed. And at the end of the day, you have a certificate after graduation, which I understand that you have one is supposed to be there in Nairobi very soon. Hopefully, I don't know if it's this month or when. We have English language teaching online conference known as ELPAK by Oxford University Press. This one, they have a session. You go online, you find English language teaching online conference. This one is by Oxford University Press. They normally have a conference that is done online. You just follow on YouTube or on social media platforms like Facebook and the others. And you get to hear people sharing about how they are doing things in their country, what they're teaching, their approaches, and so many other stuff. It's an online conference, 2 days of learning from experts. They'll bring experts from the universities in the UK and some other countries who will share in details about various ways through which you can teach English and help your learners at the end of the day. Trying to rush against time, but make it. TESOL, Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages Association. This one is domiciled in the UK, but sometimes you find that we don't have a chance to go there in person like we attend because of the logistic issues with finances and the others. We have a lot of events. If you go to their website, you get that to understand that we have the TESOL convention, which is virtual, is going to be there sometime soon. They share some webinars whereby through these webinars, various experts and people share how to teach certain areas. We also have materials for teachers. And also, if you can afford and have a chance, you can go and attend the in-person conference in Tampa, Florida, which is going to be there from March 21st of this year. And at the end of the day, you learn so many things from other teachers and you get yourselves a better teacher. I have IATFL. This one is International Association of Teachers of English as a foreign language. It's held in the UK. They also have the conference that's going to be held in Brighton later in April. But besides that, if you don't have to attend in person, you can check on the online conference. And whatever is going to be shown there online is something that's going to be very productive for us as teachers. We also have the events by special interest groups. For example, if you're interested in technology, there's a section for technology enthusiasts. If you're interested maybe in research, maybe pronunciation and so many others, you have some sessions that are there, and I'll share some of them here that you can go and then you take later. We also have Africa ELTA. This one is a regional organization. It's Africa English Language Teachers Association. This one also have some events, and besides the usual conference, is the same as the one that we have for IATFL and TESOL. We also have the conference known as Africa ELTA. But then besides that, I want to mention something to do with the mentorship programs. And this is something that other people from other countries have taken advantage of, and they have been very, very beneficial to them. And I think also in Kenya, we earned some that took the female leadership mentoring program. I know of one by the name, I think, Gerard and Angela, and someone this year. And if maybe you get a chance to interact with them, they'll tell you that these mentorship programs come with a lot of information and a lot of knowledge. So this one does not have to be in person. You need to just have it done online, and they help you to grow as a teacher. Yeah, how do you put into practice, or how do you give the knowledge that you have to your learners in a better way? You also they have regular webinars, and also they share some resources and materials for teachers and other professionals. We also have Cambridge events. Cambridge is just like a talk. They share events like online conferences. You have resources and materials for teachers. They offer courses like CELTA and Delta, which if you are looking for a job outside the country, most of the employers will ask you for CELTA or the Delta. You don't have the TESOL. We have the T for Education. This one is a platform especially for education enthusiasts. T for Education, last year they had a conference known as Teacher Tech. I attended that, but it was online. You find that you get information about how you can use technology in your classes. People from other countries share how they are using technology in their classes. And also through some classroom chronicles, they share experiences of what they are doing, how they are coping up with challenges to do with large numbers, maybe a lot of workload, and so on and so forth. T4 talks and roundtables, people share information about teaching in general in their context, and you can check what suits your context or even a similar context. Macmillan education events and programs, these ones also, they share the same ideas. Conferences, they have the Global Teachers Conference in this year, 19 February to 1st March. What is shared there is information about you as teachers of English specifically. Resources and materials are shared there. You just go attend online, you learn, at the end of the day, you benefit. So for those that sometimes want to do some online learning, talked about studies being a very key thing in career and professional development. These are some of the platforms that you can go and then you access some courses. Coursera. Uh, Coursera is a very good platform. I did my TESOL certificate at Arizona State University through Coursera. And I will say this because it's something that I did sometimes last 2022. Initially, I was just a normal teacher until I took the TESOL certificate. Well, as I was doing it, sometimes we do it maybe in our minds, we have the ideas to do it. I want to get a job, I want to apply for a job outside the country, and so on and so forth. Or maybe you want even promotion, even where you are working, you want to be promoted. But that was not what was in mind initially, because at the end of the day, after doing that certificate in TESOL, it was very, I don't know which is the best one to use, but it was very engaging. I was supposed to shoot some lessons, like reckon myself teaching an area, like around 10 lessons, how to teach grammar. And then you're supposed to shoot a lesson on about you teaching grammar. Sometimes you can do it with your students, and other times you can do it with an imaginary class. So when I started, I was like, how am I going to shoot this? I had some issues to do with facing cameras and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, I shot some videos, and the first video that I did, I edited that video because I wanted to do it. I wanted to learn how to edit this particular video. By the time I was doing the 10th lesson, I was like, I think I can do something to do with maybe creation of some learning materials for students, maybe like videos for my students. Why? Because of what I learned through the in the certificate of a TESOL course that I did on Coursera. You can choose whichever platform that you want. There are so many. You have EDX, Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, Khan Academy. And also, you can have also universities and colleges like some of the open distance learning, like the certificate in teaching, blah, 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 international curricula by Riera University, help you to become a better teacher. Some of the others are there. You can check them out later. Also, sorry. Just a minute. Here we go. We can also do it through the social media platforms. When you connect with other people, the right people, and you in the right platforms, you can grow yourself professionally. You can use LinkedIn. It's a very good application that you can connect with teachers who are like-minded, and they regularly share their stories about how they are doing things here and there in their classes, opportunities that are there for you to learn. WhatsApp, like the ELPAK WhatsApp group has been very, very productive for many teachers, I included, because they share information about various teaching approaches. Fridays, we have sessions to do with various topics and approaches to teaching. And at the end of the day, you learn. Facebook, you have Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and so on and so forth. So through social media, productive use of social media can help you to grow professionally if you connect with the right people and if you connect in the right ways. Because sometimes maybe you are on Facebook, we are on YouTube and some other places, but sometimes you're not maybe getting ideas that are going to help us professional, but maybe social and in some other ways. You can also maximize on that to grow professionally. What next now? Now that you know maybe what you're supposed to do and some of the platforms, what are you supposed to do as the next thing? The first one is that these are some of the suggestions that I came up with. You need to think of the most feasible and the best available continuous professional development program or activity. I have shared, most of the ones that I've shared are the ones that worked for me. Maybe they cannot work for everyone. They may not work for everyone. But then you need to sit down as a teacher and think, which is this program that can suit me? How can I work on it? Then secondly, you need to register the right associations. For example, being a member of ELPAK, being a member of the Africa Ultra, TESOL Association, and even IATFL have given me an opportunity to interact with teachers from all perspectives of life. And through the interaction, through the material they are sharing and many other stuff, I'm learning so many things from them. So as a teacher, if you are not registered with an organization, for example, ELPAK, which is to talk about charity beginning at home, you need to understand what is that ELPAK is doing. What do they have next week? What do they have next month? So that as they hold these activities, you are also in tandem with whatever is happening and you're not being left behind. Some of them, like TESOL and the others, some will require registration fees, which is okay. Sometimes you don't even look at the registration fee, but you look at the benefits that comes with it. Also, you create meaningful professional networks and collaborations. The moment you meet teachers in these activities, in these conferences, on these webinars, and so on and so forth, you create some meaningful networks and collaborations. And also, you can think of using social media productively by engaging in the right activities and with the right people. In simple, what I'm saying is you need to act now. For you to grow professionally, you need to act now. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is me. You can connect with me on any of these social media platforms and we can continue growing.